If you had to have a room, if you were in one room for, let's say, I don't know, 2 years, couldn't leave the room, what color would you want the room to be?
I would say for a room, like a light blue, like a lightish, blue.
I'm with you. Sort of that Sergeant Splendor blue kind of.
I thought that you go dark.
No, the deep. No, the
Eric
deep.
Goes,
actually, what do they call it? It's not a cobalt. It's like that midnight, that dawn.
Like a royal.
Sort of like a royal blue,
Yeah.
like that. Really.
I will say that, like, colors affect me so much. I maybe affect all of us so much. But one time I lived in, and I could leave it. It was for a few years, but I could leave the room. It was an orange room, and I felt like I was like up all the time.
Yeah.
Like it was not great for a bedroom.
No.
Yeah.
Orange is not a good sleepy time color.
But it is a great, like, creative color room.
Yeah, someone recently said to me, I can't do basements. And I was like, wow, what kind of weird thing is that? And ever since they said that, now I'm, like, skeptical of basements.
I know.
It's like, just because I guess, like, the being below
Yeah.
is like a trip.
I had the same experience where,
Yeah.
like, I was living in a basement apartment and I never
Yeah.
thought twice about it. And someone came in and they were like, whoa, how do you live here?
It's weird, yeah.
And
like,
then
flips your
I was like,
perspective, yeah.
Well, that screwed it all up
yeah.
for you.
It fucks it up.
Yeah,
It
It's
really
ridiculous.
does.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, I will say I like a red room. I don't know if about a bedroom, but I do love a good deep, rich, like blood red room.
Yeah.
I like.
When I met Eric, he was living in a room in LA and it was like so dark. It was just like dark.
Was there art anywhere?
Yeah, there was like creepy clowns and skulls and like all this stuff.
With all due respect, Eric, you give vampire vibes.
It was
You know
like
what I mean?
it
Like,
was
it's-
a vampire's
It's,
room.
you know, you also
Well,
look
there
like,
were the dark, velvety red curtains on the windows, and there
Yeah.
was depictions of horror in certain places. There was a skeleton hanging about the place,
Like-
and a raven, and not alive, not an actual.
But
raven.
like a
and-
taxidermied raven or
just a
the essence of a
fake.
raven.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
and clowns. That
Well, you
was
know,
the-
like
the
Edgar
other
Allan
thing.
Poe, you know, is
Yeah.
such a. But you know, I think
But I walked in there and I was like, I get why you're depressed all
Right.
the time.
Right. Oh, I get it. Yeah.
Here's the thing,
Okay.
though. I did not understand that I was depressed.
Right, until you saw the light.
Until I went in there and I was like, yeah, I did the basement thing to you. I did that to you.
Flipped it. Yeah.
She
I'm
did
sorry.
it, and suddenly I could not see it in the same way anymore. After that, I couldn't see my environment in the same way. After she brought it to light that I was living in the depths of darkness and despair.
Excellent. Great. That's great to know.
Oh yeah, good.
Yeah, no, because you were talking about when you guys first met, and you guys met at a songwriting camp or something?
Festival.
like
Yeah, you could call it a camp, but it's
Yeah.
actually a songwriting festival. It was the Steel Bridge Song Fest in Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin. Yeah,
It's a wild
Yeah.
thing. It's a really wild thing
it's
that doesn't
impossible to
happen anymore.
explain,
But
yeah.
Pat McDonald,
We go way
who was in
back.
Timbuk 3,
Cool.
Future So Bright, I Gotta
Yeah.
Wear Shades. He has this hotel in Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin, and
Holiday Music Motel.
Holiday Music Motel, and it's a hotel like year round, like a retro cool hotel. But 3 times a year he would invite like 40 songwriters to just live in the hotel for a week. They put in 3 recording studios, and we'd spin the bottle for songwriting partners, groups of 3, and then write and record a song in 24 hours, and then do it the next night and the next night.
With a different variation, like do you spin the bottle
Yeah,
again?
I spin again,
Okay.
spin
Yeah,
again.
yeah. So you always had a different writing partners, randomly selecting groups of 3 by the bottle. Yeah, and this went on every day until the weekend, where we would go then to the theater, and Friday and Saturday night and perform all of these
The
songs
songs
to
we
an
just
audience.
wrote.
That's awesome.
Like the local playhouse. Yeah. It was really a special thing. There was no money involved. Like, we weren't writing for any purpose, just because we loved it. And I think that's what made it so special. You know, it was purely
release-
passion project.
And every year they would release an album of the songs from last year. People would come to the performances. You know, they'd support the cause by buying the albums and T-shirts. But all that went into a collective. Nobody was profiting from this, and it was all a labor of love. Pat McDonald and Melanie Jane just did tremendous amounts of work to create this remarkable event and experience for people. and musicians.
Yeah.
So.
Shout out to Pat and Melanie. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And so that's where we met.
Yeah, and we met there. Yeah, I became smitten with Kate. I was, I saw her performing there, and Pat had brought me to see her at the Firehouse. And, that was it for me. And then I saw her a second time at the theater and thought it was just an impossible dream. But you know what? Dreams can come true.
Absolutely.
All right,
They tend
so
to.
you hang in there. Don't stop believing, just like the Journey song says.
All right. I'm not going to stop. And with that note, while we start.
Did you start believing yet?
I'm mid-belief.
You're in mid-belief
I'm
right
mid.
now.
I'm mid-belief.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Well, I would never tell anyone to not start believing, but I would.
Yeah.
I would never suggest
start
that anyone.
believing.
Yeah. Don't
That
start
Don't
believing.
start believing.
That
Don't
would
start believing.
not be as good of a song.
No,
Yeah. I have a
Or
friend that
maybe a
recently
better
started.
song.
Maybe you
Yeah.
don't start believing.
I have a good friend. He recently started believing, and we stopped talking. It's like,
you know what?
you know what I
I
mean?
can't
It's
deal with
like-
this.
It's a whole
I'm
different
out.
thing. It's like, he started letting everyone know that he was believing. It was like not a good. It was not a good
One of
thing.
those believers,
It's not like it. But anyway, well, thank you for joining us, everyone. Welcome to the Groove Within. I'm joined by two incredible musicians who are the brain powers that be for the supergroup Sergeant Splendor. Kate Vargas and Eric McFadden. That is you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Full transparency, this is a redo episode. So we've done this once before. So there's some things we know about each other now. But yeah, thank you. We met initially at Jazz Fest last year.
That's right.
And the record had not come out yet.
Right, we
When we've-
just released the first single.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at the time. And now the record's out in the world, and there's been a little bit of wind in your sail. You were playing with Samantha Fish on a nice run of dates and been doing your thing and playing festivals all over. How have things been? How are you guys?
Well, it's been good. Yeah, that's crazy. We talked in May and thinking of all the things that have happened since then. We're having a lot of fun with this Sergeant Splendor project,
Yeah, as it turns out, we like doing it. Yeah. It's been, a lot of touring. The Death of the Hoochie Koo came out, I guess, very shortly after we saw you last, maybe 3 weeks after that.
It was quick because we were talking about it getting ready to come out. Yeah.
And then we had left Jazz Fest and gone on to do a bunch of, we played the Bottle Rock and Joshua Tree Music Festival, Mempho in Memphis. So we did a lot of festivals after that. And then touring with Samantha Fish and Jesse Dayton has been great. What else are we doing? We're doing some collaborations.
The band at its essence feels like a collaboration, right? It's like you
is.
guys are the brainchild,
Right.
but you went into the studio, made this killer record, similar to how you met.
Sure, yeah.
You kind of went into the studio quickly, put this thing
Yeah.
together, and now and then every band is kind of like this pickup band, but it's not just like it's a fucking pickup supergroup.
A
wherever
lovely
you go.
We
variety of players.
Been very fortunate
Yeah.
we've been doing kind of a rotating rhythm section.
Well, Brad and I were just talking about Brady Blade, who did played with us a bit, did some shows.
Yeah, I know Brady really well.
Yeah,
he's a good dude.
Brady
Shout out
and
yeah.
Dominic Davis from Jack White's
Yeah.
band played
Bass.
the Fishbone rhythm section. Norwood and John, we've done some stuff. Stephen Perkins and Mike Watt sat in with us in L.A.
What?
Yeah, we had
I didn't
a
know
wild
that.
show in LA.
Oh my God, I am a
Yeah.
huge Mike Watt fan.
Oh,
I've been
yeah.
on his show, the Watt from Pedro show before.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
that's a great one.
Yeah.
That was pretty awesome.
That was really neat. I
Yeah.
will say one of my favorite things about that night, and it was a great night, was watching Norwood Fisher watch Mike Watt.
Yeah, because when he
Because-
stepped off stage and Mike Watt came up to play with us, Norwood just stood there right by Mike Watt on the side of the stage, just watching with his big.
I love seeing
That's so
people
awesome.
it's Norwood Fisher, but to see him like
Get
a little
stoked.
kid,
Yeah.
and he's just like,
Yeah.
I
'Cause
love
Mike's a-
that.
Yeah.
A wild man.
He's a wild man.
Yeah.
Wild man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
ripping
he
that
works
thing.
the thud staff, as he would
Yeah,
put
man,
it.
the thud staff.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. I've had a lot of really nice email exchanges with him where it's like he's speaking in like bebop.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, he does that, man.
It's amazing. It's
Because
so
I
wonderful.
came to play. I work the thud staff. I jam Econo.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Econo. Yeah, he said everything. Jim Econo. Yeah,
I jam Econo.
Econo. Yeah.
He's like everything's gonna be low, but just the bare bones of what's neat. He would travel with his one extra shirt and toothbrush in his pocket and one extra change of clothes. You just wash the other one in the tub. You just,
Road warrior.
You don't stop. You have the piss bottle.
That's
you
it.
know,
Yeah,
you
we're
know.
going to the gig. That's how. Yeah,
We're going to the gig.
taking the ship.
Wow.
Yeah. And
I feel like there'd be a lot of freedom in that kind of life. Like
Yeah.
you just One extra shirt, toothbrush in your pocket.
I mean, that was like, with the Minutemen, I get it in Firehose, but with Iggy, when he's playing with the Stooges.
The Stooges, yeah.
I think he was probably traveling a little more luxuriously.
Lux, yeah, I would think so
He'd
too.
be just going with whatever Iggy, the band's doing, right?
Whatever they're doing, he's rolling with them. Yeah. So how was that having them sit in? Was it a
Oh, it was just
great. I've played with them a lot over the years.
It was wonderful.
We go back since I was 18 years old, but yeah, it was. I think the first time that you had the chance to play with Mike Watt, right?
Yeah, I didn't even know it was Mike Watt, and he was sitting off stage.
Probably eating a sandwich or something.
Yeah, just super
chilling.
chill.
Yeah,
I just thought he was some guy, and then
wow.
you introduce him, and he gets up and just destroys. It was just so great.
That's
it was
awesome.
our birthday show,
with
so it was
Perkins just
extra
saying,
special
that's
because.
right, yeah.
Do you guys share a birthday?
December 1st.
2 days apart.
Wow.
So it was the day in between.
Right.
Wow.
And yeah.
Wow, that's
so we
cool.
had a bunch of friends
Jimmy
come
Vivino.
out.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
He was there. Tim Pierce. Who else was there?
Tim Pierce, Dean
Omar
Del
Torres.
Rey.
Wow.
Dean Del Rey. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, Lily Hayden.
Lily
who
Hayden.
Eric played
Yeah.
in
And
P-Funk
together.
with.
Yeah, she's
Violin
amazing,
player.
amazing
Yeah.
violinist.
Crazy.
You played mandolin, right? Didn't you play mandolin with P-Funk?
I sure did.
Yeah,
Mandolin
yeah.
and guitar, but I joined primarily as a mandolin player. I kind of ended up doing half guitar, half mandolin shortly thereafter. But yeah, I do have the distinction of being the first and only mandolinist for Parliament Funkadelic, though.
There you go, folks.
Thank you so much.
Well, look, the project is now out in the world. You've got these collaborations. Does it change the way you think of it now from when you first went into the studio for a week and said, let's just make something?
Yeah.
I keep forgetting that we did that. I forget, so we went into the studio. We were given this opportunity to
Wait, for the second album, for the first album?
I'm sorry, this most recent record,
Oh,
the second record,
yeah,
Death of
yeah.
the Hoochie Koo.
So we were given this opportunity to go into this new studio with some great musicians, Oz Fritz, engineer,
Yeah.
and just do whatever we wanted. So we were like, hey, if we come out with a single or two, that'd be great, But the vibe in there was so good that we ended up writing a whole album.
Yeah, it was.
And
we had 2
recording.
or 3 songs. Kate brought in a couple things she had demoed, but the majority of it was stuff we just wrote there. And it was our friend Joby Pritzker had, and we were breaking in a studio. We were the first thing to
First session in there.
first session, and it was great. We had Michael Urbano on drums.
Cool.
And,
Wow.
And Paolo Baldi.
Yeah, Paulo Baldi.
Okay. Yeah.
He's also on the first album.
Got it. Yeah.
And he's with Les Claypool and Claypool and all that. But great players, Danny Eisenberg and Mike D are on there.
That's a first for me. I'm a person who just it's so obnoxious. I just toil over songs.
Yeah,
Just
yeah. She really puts herself through it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's absolute torture.
Yeah.
Torture. But so this was a really nice departure from that. But I
To
forget.
Let go of that.
Yeah, to let go. And
Yeah.
and I think that's been for this project one of the best things for me is that maybe it's because it's under a different name. I've never, I always performed under my own name.
Yeah.
It was me and a guitar a lot of
Yeah.
the time,
Yeah.
and this feels a little freer
Yeah.
and a little
Yeah.
we can get kind of goofy with it. It's just, I don't know. It's something great about.
It's freeing in a lot of ways because Kate's stuff, the Kate Vargas albums, I think are just brilliant, and I think, and she has a very distinct sound and approach to what she does, and but it's good that there's some separation between Kate Vargas and Sergeant Splendor, or Eric McFadden and Sergeant Splendor. Even though we're both drawing from our collective influences and all that, it sounds very different than just Kate or my stuff. I think I really love kind of what happens.
Yeah, I guess there is sort of a freedom in that.
As two people that spend a lot of time with each other, does it get
a lot?
Yeah, does it get harder? Okay, should we talk about that?
Oh no,
yeah. No, but I guess the thing I want to ask is similar to that. How do you start talking about a new record? Because then it becomes does it do you start talking about it over dinner? Does it like say, well, actually, it's like, how does that play out for you guys?
Dinner.
Breakfast. Yeah.
I think that I don't know that we've ever talked about a new album per se, but because we're together a lot, like ideas are kind of like constantly coming in and out, and so
It also depends what we're listening to and being infiltrated with at the time, right?
yeah.
Like, sometimes.
So it's kind of like you guys are just around each other, that it's always sort of flowing. Maybe like a buddy texts you and says, hey, I got the studio to break in. You want to come in? And then it becomes, well, you want to go to the studio? And then all of a sudden it becomes, let's make a record,
Yeah, we do have a date right now for the recording of the next one. So
Actually, 2 dates.
Well, yes, two.
Well, yes, right. 2 different recordings. Exactly.
Right.
So it's
but
on our
2 dates.
minds,
Yeah.
We're like, okay, we need songs. So we're thinking about it a bit more.
But we were also thinking about, like, stylistically, like, for example, right, like when we had gone to the studio in Atlanta with Falcon Greenwell's at Tedeschi Trucks, right, and we did one song, right, with him, and it was
similar to how we did Death
Right.
of the Hoochie Koo, where we're just like, okay,
but it sounded
what have you got?
Yeah.
And we just flesh it
and
out.
we just played it, but it was sort of in that Betty Davis Meters vibe, right?
Yeah, we
And-
really felt influenced by, I guess we had just
Come from Jazz Fest.
Oh, we just
Yeah.
came from
Yeah,
Jazz
yes.
Fest,
Yeah.
and we just came from, Leo.
And we'd hung out with Leo and done a little
Video. So, and I'm just like Betty Davis, always, all the time,
Same.
like
Yeah, dude.
all the
Hell,
time.
Yeah.
So that
But
was-
then like the meters stuff that's sort of like hypnotic almost,
Yes.
like the riffs where
Yeah.
you're just
And
like,
the groove is super hypnotic.
Yeah.
You
it's
roll with it.
super groovin'
Yeah.
and hypnotic, which I feel like is unique.
Yeah. Well, this record has that too, which you guys have put out. I think there's a lot of that.
There's some of that in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I feel that from you guys for sure.
good.
Yeah, it's
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
So
it's rocking, but it's layered.
Right.
And you can tell it's like a rock record. It sounds like some people threw up some microphones and you guys made a killer record.
Well, that's the thing, it's like we didn't have much time to think about it and scrutinize it, criticize it. We just did it before. So when it was done, we were wondering, was it good? What did we just do? We didn't even know, really.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we really believed in whatever that energy was,
Yeah.
and the players,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and frickin' Oz Fritz. Like,
Right.
what
Yeah.
a guy.
So it really just kind of,
There was a lot of trust, I think.
But we're also collaborating with Fantastic Negrito right now,
Cool.
and we're
Yeah.
doing a couple songs, and that's in a little bit of a different vein.
Mm-hmm.
And Xavier, was suggesting that we maybe write a couple more in that vein, right, for an EP, right? So, and that's
cool.
a little bit of a difference. So I was kind of got that. What would you call it?
His vibe, like Fantastic's vibe.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
It's a little bit like
It's
even
like
if the songs were
it's not blues. It's like
But
sometimes he gets categorized
does.
as that.
Yeah, but it's
got like it's like
something
punk
else.
rock, like almost like a
This one-
Gonzo style
This
blues.
one's got a
It's
little
like-
garage rock, 60s retro, little twang,
Yep.
surf. Kind
Any
of,
baritone type stuff like
Yeah,
that.
it's kinda like,
Yeah. And he's
Yeah.
getting like his latest album, White Jesus Black Problems, that's like he really takes a turn,
He
and
took
it's a
it.
really cool turn.
Yeah.
But so he's like super fun to work with because he just wants
Oh,
to
yeah.
like explore and
He's
take left turns
so
like
creative
all the time.
and so daring too. He's like,
But it's all attitude. It's all attitude.
he just really knows how to,
Yeah.
So you guys are, career musicians. You're spending your life on the road, making
Yes.
music, living the actual thing.
Yeah.
Like, what's the biggest denoter of success for you these days? Like, is it like, wow, cool, we streamed whatever, or is it like, oh, cool, we're working a lot, or is it, what is it that keeps you guys going at the moment?
That's a great question.
yeah, thanks.
Yeah, it's a wild life. This is a wild life, and
Oh yeah, it's
I think at the end of the day, and we were just talking about this actually on the way here, it feels like we have a purpose, and that's pretty much like all that I could ask for is, we're connecting with people constantly, whether it be like when we're on stage or afterward, or even just like, we travel a lot. So we're meeting people at the coffee shop, and we're like, for me, that's the stuff that I always go to deathbed, which sounds morbid, but I think about on my deathbed, what am I going to be like feeling good about? And it's probably not going to be number of streams. It's probably going to be connections that I've made with people, other people, and we get to do that all the time.
I think that's
so cool.
Really, I think that sums up a lot of it. I think we're compelled to play music. That's almost beyond it being a choice, right? It's something that we are just compelled to do, for better or for worse.
And
as far as
nobody in their right mind would do this.
No, I feel like, as Colonel Bruce Hampton would say, if you are compelled to play music and that's your purpose, you'd be crazy not to do it. He says, but if not, you're definitely crazy to do it. If you don't have to play music, don't. It's kind of like
it's a calling, and it's like being a priest. It's like it's like there's a lot you have to give up, and a lot you have to surrender to in order to do it. I get that,
but
I appreciate you guys making that effort, and as someone that appreciates art and appreciates what you guys do, it's fantastic.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service. And
thanks. I'm a failed musician, so I was like, let me just talk to the people I look up to.
I don't know what does that mean, failed.
Yeah, I guess that's the
exactly, and that's you flipped it on me, thinking that's a really interesting way to think about it, and there's a lot of beauty in that for sure.
It's your interpretation of failure and success that counts, because there are people that have far more than we do who still don't consider themselves successful or successful enough.
Right. When does it end?
Right. When is enough enough? Is there such thing as enough? And should we even be gauging it that way?
It's scary.
It's sort of a journey, right? And we're continuously, exploring and learning and moving.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just went to see a movie last night, Problemista. Julio Torres, who's this great comedian we used to see here in the city, like in these tiny little clubs. My friend Naomi at Paragon used to host a show, and he has this movie with Tilda Swinton, and the whole idea behind the movie, I think, is just like how we look at things, and sometimes it's just a little step to one side can make such a huge difference. And am I seeing this as an obstacle or just like an interesting thing, interesting thing in my way that kind of makes this process different than I thought it would, you know? And
so I think that's a great thing. It's like how we choose to not just interpret things, but also like creating opportunities from what might seem, like the pandemic, right? For a huge example, did seem at first like the worst possible thing that could happen. And yes, there were many detrimental effects, but I feel we certainly used it the best possible way and turned it into as much of a positive as we could have.
You must. It's a test for sure.
And,
well, we were also very fortunate.
We had more fortunate circumstances than a lot of people, which we have to recognize. And Sergeant Splendor was pretty much born of that. We went in, the first album was Lucky Recording Company outside of San Francisco, right? And that we didn't know it was going to be a band. We had just written songs, and we just went in there to record them. We didn't really have a plan, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah.
But,
well, it's crazy. It just goes to show you, it's like, as you go on, it's sort of like you might see a problem, or you might see a way that you normally do things or approach things, like being a songwriter that pines over getting it right until it's like perfect, versus like, being a road warrior where you've seen it all. But when you put those things together, despite conflict or whatever it is, you navigate it accordingly. That's awesome. So
there was back in the OkCupid days, I think that's gone now, but they'd ask you all these questions and then
questionnaire, match you with people.
There was one question.
Now I think you just tap on someone's face.
You're just
like like it's like dog food. It's terrible. Anyway.
There was this one question that I thought nothing of until my friend pointed it out to me, but it was, would you rather good things happen? Would you rather your life be good or interesting? It was something like that. And I just was like, it's a throwaway. And someone brought it up to me, maybe someone I went on a date with, but I think about it all the time now.
Yeah.
Because it's like, to me, I'm like, good, obviously.
Yeah, but when you think about the difference between good and interesting, you think about what that feels like on the day to day.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Although life has been very interesting, it's often good as well.
Well, there's good parts.
100%
There's
true.
good
Always
parts,
good
but
parts.
we lead a very interesting life, and I think you lead a very interesting life.
It's wild. I
Yeah.
can't believe when I wake up, I'm like, for real? Like, I'm like, again? All right, let's go,
Go figure, huh?
Yeah, but it's a great thing. If it's cool with you guys, I'd love to hear some music. Is that right? Can we do that?
Let's do that.
I will concede to that. For you,
All right,
absolutely.
All right.
All right.
Cool. All right, well, take it away. We're going to do a quick cut. Thank you guys for doing that.
Way better than last time.
I was still fucked up.
Fell asleep in the petunias, silently sucking on sugar cane. Sure as a stone, I would have sobered up sooner if I'd have known that the weeds were holding me like chains. Lay me back down, hallelujah. Lay me back down with a diamond bouquet. Now when that sweet cream goes sour and the memories fade, when your garden loses its flowers, love is shining up from the grave. Lay me back down, hallelujah. Lay me back down in the California shade. Lay me back down to the choir shouting hallelujah. Lay me back down with a diamond bouquet. Hallelujah. Lay me back down in the California shade. Lay me back down to the choir shouting hallelujah. Lay me back down with a diamond bouquet.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks.